The reality is that the individual that you start out being, once you have a baby, you are not that same person. You don't perceive the world the same way. You don't look at the individuals in your lives the same way. You don't feel the same way yourself, right? And as a doula, it is our job to kind of be the guide through that and whatever that looks like for that individual. Ancient Song's capacity and role as doulas goes beyond and extends beyond just what a typical doula service is. You know, we're not going to see someone for like 2 to 3 visits and then, we're on call for 24 hours and then we go to birth and then we see you twice and then that's it. Like it extends to more than that, because family is complex.
Your care provider was called and you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. Your bag is done, you're ready to go. And at that point, you're probably gonna need comfort measures, and that could take different forms. It could be positions that you yourself do, like squatting.
So beforehand, I didn't think I qualified to have a doula, and the reason I thought that and believed that was because I think I put myself in the category of being too vulnerable to qualify for a doula. And I also put doulas in the category of maybe a specific, affluent culture that are only, given to certain people. I thought to myself, I'm on Medicaid, I probably don't get a doula. Which looking back now is funny because that wasn't the case and that's obviously not the situation. So it's really wonderful and validating for me because I think this is a service that every woman should have. And so knowing that anybody can qualify to have a doula and everybody should have that type of support is really important for me and I think really empowering for women.
Ancient Song's mission is to offer all, regardless of socioeconomic standing, quality doula care and the information they need to make an informed decision about their care. We never turn anybody away. I'm gonna say that again, never turn anybody away. In New York, when you have doulas who charge $5,000 for their services, which is fine, I have nothing wrong with that. That's but that you're serving a certain population of individuals. There is something wrong when we again make it a commodified luxury and don't realize that there's other people who deserve the same level of care. When I go and I see a mom who may be living in a shelter, but does that mean that she shouldn't get the care that she deserves because her housing may not necessarily be adequate? Or if you have someone who may have a substance abuse or usage problem, but they're actively seeking out care, right? They're being an active participant in their lives, but they're on Medicaid. Does that mean that they should receive any less dignity in the way in which they birth their children? Ancient Song has challenged that by telling everyone that no matter what, you'll never be turned away. Regardless of what your socioeconomic standing is, you should be able to be offered quality doula care, like across the board. We deal from everything that's considered quote unquote high risk. So I think about high risk, think about also the social determinants that make something high risk. African American women in New York City are 12 times more likely to have some sort of infant or maternal death, and that's within the first year, right? So either a complication or something that happened in pregnancy where the mother did not make it, or the child dying within the first year of life, right? That's how infant and maternal mortality is calculated. And people are starting to try to attribute it to stress, levels of stress and racism. If we see how stress affects the brain and how it can change someone's genes and DNA makeup to the point where they're no longer the same individual and the individuals that they're birthing are no longer the same. Well, what does that mean for a cycle of people who have consistently been put in a stressful environment? It's something else where you have to consistently be consciously aware of your surroundings all the time. That's stress. So, and that impacts the way in which we birth our babies, low birth weight babies, preterm deliveries. And when you're under a high impact or load of stress, it can make you go into labor early. It can cause other complications. And it's sad. It's sad because it shouldn't necessarily have to be like that. So we've been working with other organizations for a while now, since about 2010. There's the New York Coalition for Doula Access that has kind of partnered and tried to get together to petition Medicaid to be able to cover these costs. And we're still in the process of trying to do so, to see that happen. Because it is a service that is necessary. And if I could find another word for what it is that our particular brand of doulas does, then I would. Because, I see the doula as preventative care.